The Denver Broncos will go to the Oakland Raiders on Sunday, November 6th in Week 9 NFL action. The most telling part about this week's betting line is the total, which is set at 44 points. That either implies that the Oakland Raiders will play some defense this week, or the Denver Broncos defense is going to eat well. This will be a fun line to watch throughout the week as more people get invested in this AFC West battle. Both Denver and Oakland had impressive wins last weekend. The Denver Broncos needed the win last week, and they needed their defense to get back to what has made them so successful. They got after Philip Rivers to improve to 6-2, both straight up and against the spread. It's very clear that this Broncos offense runs a lot better with Trevor Siemian at the helm, because the Broncos game planned all summer for Siemian to be the guy, and he has been so far. Siemian hasn't gone downfield a ton, but he's mostly taking care of the football, and he has used his mobility to stay out of really negative plays. Devontae Booker should provide a new spark for the running game, although he didn't find much running room against San Diego. Denver's lack of offense caught up with the team against Atlanta and San Diego last month. Denver is one of the best defensive teams in football. The Broncos have allowed 17 points per game and just 4.8 yards per play. They're going to be tested by the Oakland offense, but the Broncos secondary has been tremendous. They've only allowed a 53.5% completion rate against some pretty good quarterbacks and have more turnovers than offensive touchdowns allowed. With the major scare involving Wade Phillips last week, a major sigh of relief went up at practice on Monday when he returned. So it should be business as usual for this talented group. The Oakland Raiders are also 6-2 straight up and 5-3 against the spread, after hanging 626 yards on the Buccaneers defense in an overtime win. It was Oakland's fourth road game in 6 weeks, and they spent all week in Florida. With a neutral site game in Mexico City coming up next, Oakland will have had just one home game from October 16th to November 27th. The Oakland offense is exceptional, and the Raiders have rushed for 4.8 yards per carry. Derek Carr has only taken 9 sacks this season. The offensive line play has been tremendous for the Raiders. Carr has completed over 66% of his passes with a 17-3 touchdown interception ratio and a lot of clean pockets. Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree will combine for their 100th catch this weekend and will go over the 1,400-yard mark on the season. While there are a lot of positives, it is fair to say that Oakland has trailed in the fourth quarter of several games this season, and they are 2 bad penalty flags away from being just a 4-4 football team. The reason for that is a terrible defense. Oakland is allowing 285 passing yards and 125 rushing yards per game. They've grabbed some turnovers, otherwise the points against and the yards against stats would be even worse. The Raiders have given up 4.8 yards per carry and 12.9 yards per reception this season. Teams are moving the ball in big chunks on this team and have 1,027 yards after the catch. If Denver can get Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas free, they could run wild on this Oakland secondary. It's a marvel that the Raiders have only allowed 25.4 points per game with 410 yards allowed per contest, but the Denver offense probably will not be able to do much more than that. The stage seems set for a changing of the guard in the AFC West. Many expected it to be Kansas City, but the Raiders are living right and they're taking care of the football. The quarterbacks that have done really well on Oakland are Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, and Philip Rivers, but Trevor Siemian is not any of those guys. Our pick and prediction is for the Oakland Raiders at a pick. For our pick and prediction on this game and every other game this week, and a wealth of free stats and information, check out bangthebook.com.